English to talk about something that you're passionate about?
Yeah, an easy way to get into that, I would say, is on YouTube. Right? You just look up a video of somebody playing it, and in the comment section, you get to see discussions.
For sure. Or I imagine I haven't used these sites so much, but like Twitch and so on, that you can actually watch people playing live, right? And I think there's some chats and stuff, so you can be chatting with other people who are watching the live stream.
Anyway, so recommendation of a mobile game that I have for guys is Albion Online. How do I spell that? It's like Albion, Albion or Albion. I'm not even sure I pronounced that. I've learned about this game like years ago, but I'm not sure. I'll leave the link in the description as well. But this is what we call an MMORPG, the massive multiplayer online RPG role-playing games. Very long acronym. It describes something very simple. It's like an online game like an adventure game that you play that pretty much as we were describing. Anyway, then, so these were the lessons. Let me just recap. I'll just go over those lessons again, those stories. So with Humber's story about getting into adventure games, starting early in childhood and growing up and starting making harder games with more advanced language and really making an effort to understand what's happening there in English. I'd say the lesson there is that games put you in situations where you need to use your English. So remember that, get immersed in it, and it'll work just like real life a lot of times. Real life, I mean our life or our life. So in the second story, I was talking about how I was thrown into this world, this universe with this vocabulary, with all those games that I already mentioned. So that's another lesson that you learn. Like, just know that and take advantage of it. Right? Take note of the words, get addition to them, and use them later. Use them to solve the puzzles, the challenges within the game. And finally, social opportunities. If you look for an online game, there's plenty of that as well. And if you go to the App Store or I recommended games here, but you can search for more, right? So these were the stories that I had here, and I think this is a good time for us to move into the next part of our lesson here that I think just keeps illustrating how all these games today are just tremendous for.
Yes, we get to take a trip down memory lane, right? And talk about some of the games. Yeah, it's super nostalgic, right? Like getting to, I think like video games that we played when we were kids kind of shaped us in some way.
I'm curious, like what's your question?
The first one I took note of actually was Pokemon, because that like came out when I was probably like, you know, one of the first games I played on the Game Boy, and I think it was like one of the first games that really was one that got us connecting with friends and so on. I love like the whole premise of it that they used to say is catch 'em all, you gotta catch 'em all, which has like this great connected speech that you have got to catch them all, but they shortened it a lot to you gotta catch 'em all. And like watching, I was a fan of the show too, the anime, when I was a kid. Like I remember after school going to my dad's office, because it was like right next to where I was going to school, and watching them, the new episodes. And yeah, I was thinking about like so there's the classics, right? The Red and Blue, those were the first ones that I played with friends and stuff, and like figuring out how to, it's such a cool game because like you get to create, like catch these different creatures, and like you're building a relationship with them, building your unique team and so on, and like going on this adventure together with them. No time that you play it is ever going to be the same, because you're always building different teams and so on. And just like thinking back about like Red and Blue, these games were really glitchy. When we say glitchy, it means that they have like bugs or like things that you can take advantage of. So I remember there were several of these. There was like one where you go to one city, talk to this old man, fly to another city, you go and you'd surf, which is like the word they used to ride a Pokemon in the water. You'd like surf up and down this one place. You would like have this encounter with a glitchy Pokemon. It's like, I think it was called Missing No. And then after you beat it, you would have a certain item that was in your bag would become unlimited. You get an infinite amount of it. So it's like things like this that like make it super nostalgic for me. I think a great thing too with these games, you can, I don't know how legal this is, but there's like emulators, which this is a nice word. Emulator is like basically that you can download on your computer the hardware or software, sorry, that allows you to like have a Game Boy or different types of consoles. And so you can get an emulator, and then you can get like the ROM for these old games, and so you can kind of take that trip down memory lane, take some of these old games, and you could try playing them in English and maybe played it in your native language when you were a kid. So Izzy, what's your first game you thought of?
Hey, so if you want to continue watching this lesson, include this last part where Ethan and I discussed our favorite video games.